What's up, everyone? How are we? Welcome to tonight's late night agenda. I'm starting to lose track of the days now. I'm not going to lie. It just seems like one day is the same as the next day, and here we are. I hope we're all keeping well. I hope life is treating you well. I hope the stream is actually up and going through because we had to change a few things around with the technical side of things. So hopefully the stream key worked and we're all good to go. I think that we are live. Brilliant. How are we, everybody? Welcome. We've got some news to get through, of course. Some news about the potential start back of leagues around Europe and other bits and pieces as well. We are just broadcasting on YouTube tonight. I thought I'd keep it simple. Just keep us all over on YouTube tonight. Hello to everybody that's in the chat. Pa, Barry, Brian, Joanne, Darren, Bernadette, Dave, Sweeney, John Hamilton, Thomas Smith, Mark, Barry and Bruno and Casper. I think I've got everybody there. If I missed anybody, I do apologise. How are we? Nice to see you all in the chat. Nice to see you with us. I think the notifications actually started to go out tonight, which is good. Liz is coming in as well. Paul Turner, Sam and everybody else. Lovely to see you all with us. How are we? I hope everybody's keeping well. I hope all your families are safe. And again, I want to start off the stream by saying to anybody that's out there on the front lines, anybody that's a nurse, that's a doctor, that's working in the NHS, that's working in the HSE, that's working in the supermarkets or out there, whatever you're doing, if you're on the front line, thank you so much for everything that you're doing to keep the rest of us safe and to keep our countries all ticking along. No matter what part of the world you're in, ladies and gentlemen, everybody makes a difference. So again, thank you, and I hope you're all safe. Hello to everybody in the chat. Loads of people saying, how am I? I'm alright, thank you. I don't know what came over me the other night. I was just tired and I'd been on antibiotics for 2 weeks and I was run down and I don't know. I just think everything just got on top of me and I just kind of went downhill pretty quickly. But hey, stuff happens and I am who I am. I love your bald head. Thank you, mate. Very much, really appreciate that. Look, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot for us to get through in tonight's stream, and you can see by the title of the stream that there is a little bit of hope beyond hope that Liverpool could potentially lift that league title in June. I don't think so myself, but I'm going to go about and talk about what's being reported. So, Sky Sports News reported that European leagues and competitions remain hopeful of finishing the season by June the 30th. Now, this comes after an opening round of talks this week, and those talks will continue, and of course, as the situation develops, people will be checking in and making sure that it's safe to get back and play football. That is the most important thing here. For those of you that aren't aware, let's say for instance we think, okay, well we can just play it behind closed doors. I mean, that's probably the most likely scenario, but even at that, you still have to allow for the fact that every game is going to need some an ambulance at it, it's going to need some medical personnel at it, and they don't want to be putting an undue strain on the NHS, or if you're in Spain or Italy or whatever country you're in. This is, of course, all the leagues around Europe talking that they're still hopeful of finishing the season by June the 30th. I don't know how realistic that is. Again, I'd love to get your take on that, ladies and gentlemen. I think we all just want it to get back playing. Of course we want football to get back, but first and foremost we want everyone to be safe, and we want the players, the staff, the referees, everybody involved to be safe and fit and healthy and ready to go. Will they need a mini pre-season? That's what I'm wondering here, and that will lead me into something that I'm going to talk about a little bit later on. But will we need a bit of a mini pre-season before we get back? I've genuinely lost track of when the last game was that we played. I know we were due to play Everton, but I can't think of the date. Hello to everybody else that's coming in as well. Don't worry about it, mate. It's head time. It is a clusterfuck without a shadow of a doubt, Michael, mate. It is lovely seeing all the different colour badges as well, by the way. So thank you to all our members. Whether you're a gold member, you've got a gold badge, a shiny gold badge. Whether you're with us 1 month, 3 months, or whatever, thank you so much. What have we got? Connor said it takes around 300 people to broadcast games for Sky and BT, which is, I'd heard 150, but even at that, mate, just think about that, 150 or 300 people to broadcast the game, and that's of course with the likes of then you put the referees, the players and stuff, so everybody has to be kept safe. That is first and foremost. Everybody wants sport back for sure, but interestingly, the UFC Khabib Ferguson fight, that seems to be going ahead behind closed doors. Reza said, why aren't you streaming on Hot Mic? I just thought I'd give it a break tonight, mate. I don't want to put any more undue pressure on people. I don't want people to feel bad. So I said for tonight, let's just go back to the old days. Go onto YouTube. The code is on screen if anyone wants to sign up to Hot Mic. I'm not going to ram it down your throats anymore. I'd say, are your family okay? Yes, mate. Thankfully, my family are all good. It only hit me maybe 4 days ago that I'm potentially in the vulnerable list because I'm an asthmatic and my son is an asthmatic, and weirdly I put it together that Lucas was in the vulnerable list, but I completely blanked my own asthma. So there you go. So I suppose I've got to make sure that I'm all tickety-boo as well, as we like to say. Right, now, with regards to the league maybe starting back, which we spoke about, there's going to be ongoing meetings that they'll talk about this. 30th of June, they're still hopeful about the leagues finishing across Europe. I'd be a bit more pessimistic than that if I'm being honest, ladies and gentlemen. But FIFA are considering plans to change the dates of the summer transfer window because obviously of what's happening at the minute. There's no talk about whether they'll start it later or earlier, or they'll extend it. There's no absolute definitives yet. Like everything else, this is a moving jigsaw piece or puzzle, shall we say. So again, keep an eye out. They are looking to move the transfer window dates around. We'll get into the sexy stuff about transfers as well in a few minutes because there is some stuff like that as well to talk about because we do love a transfer, don't we? Caleb Gone 12, thank you so much, mate, for the super chat. Very kind of you. You're a gent, mate. Really appreciate it. Hope you are well. What else is there? I'm an asthmatic too, Craig. We are the dangers, said Stevie G. And like for anyone that thinks I'm bullshit or talking at me arse, like there's me inhaler. Like I'm not making it up. I just genuinely forgot that puts me in that category because I suppose as a parent or just a husband or whatever, you just don't think. You think of everybody else around you, don't you? And the mums out there will know exactly what I'm talking about. Mammy's playing the blinder as well during all of this. The best team of the world, Manchester City opposites. I don't know what you mean by that, Graham, but look, City are a fantastic team. Sterling hasn't shut the door on a Reds return. Thoughts, said Kate. Yes, so for those that don't know what Kate is talking about, and I'm sure most of you guys do, Raheem Sterling was doing a bit of a Q&A, I think. Was it through his agency? I know one of the big sports rep agencies did a Q&A with a few players. I think Sancho did one as well. But yes, Raheem Sterling did come out and say that he loves Liverpool. He still loves Liverpool, and they'll always have fond memories of his time here, and he'll always have an admiration for the club because they're a club that helped establish him, and he had some wonderful years here. So look, it's always lovely to hear that. Whether it means anything to you guys, I don't know. I'll leave that to each and every one of you to figure out. Stevie G said it's great to have you back. I'm so happy you didn't quit. What I'm going to try and do, Stevie, is just muddle on through. I'm going to try and do three streams a week maybe. I'm going to try and muddle on through until we get back to the football action. Yeah, because we all need a bit of a break as well. And I think I was just, I was a bit worn out. But hey, it is what it is. I'd never want Sterling back, said Ben Washbrook. Mr. Snowman said Sterling can do one. I gotta move this. Subi said, Craig, my mum's a doctor at the hospital, and when she comes back from work, you can see the stress on her face. Subi, mate, I can only imagine. Your mum and the rest of the frontline staff like that, mate, I can only imagine what they're seeing and doing and the stress that they're in. But mate, just know, and please pass it on to your mum. Each and every one of us are in awe of your mum and the other frontline staff that are out there day after day making sure that families have their loved ones and the people can go home. So mate, again, thank you to your mum and everyone else that's out there doing unbelievable work. Unbelievable. Brian said, now Sterling can not just do one, he can properly do one. Have you heard about Prince Charles tested positive for COVID-19? Yes, I did, mate, but thankfully, I don't, political, religious, royal, I don't really care. I look at it from a human aspect, and I hope that he makes a full recovery, of course, and I think he has shown mild symptoms, if I'm correct, and I think Camilla hasn't tested positive, which is good news as well. But look, I suppose we're going to hear more and more of these stories, aren't we? And I don't want to talk about that too much, as in not that specific situation. I mean, the whole thing. I don't even want to say the words. I'm so fearful of YouTube demonetizing us that I don't even want to say the words. So Sterling's a snake, said Yibber. Callum said I'd take Sterling. Who wouldn't? Do you know what? I'd said this before. Whatever. I don't know if I'd take Sterling or not, but he's one hell of a footballer. There's no denying it. Like, if we're saying, nobody can say he's shit. Raheem Sterling is a very good footballer. If he could finish a little bit better, he would be an extremely good footballer. But look, he's an excellent player. Reza, I wondered. I knew somebody made a shitload of Hot Mic accounts because you could see the numbers on Hot Mic going up very, very quickly after that stream the other night, mate. So thank you. I don't know if we'll get away with it, but thank you, mate. If anybody else hasn't signed up to Hot Mic, it is the future of where the channel's going to be going with regards to broadcasting and stuff. We'll always be on YouTube, but probably going to do more content on Hot Mic when it gets more established along the way as well. So look, there is a link in the description. It is on the screen. Put in the code Anfield Agenda. You know the rest at this point. Did I watch Mark Goldbridge DT interview? No, I didn't, Stevie G. I don't really watch much YouTube stuff, mate. I don't really have the time. But I'm sure it was Mark's good at what he does, so I'm sure it was entertaining. Yeah, Again, nothing but love for me to anybody that's out there making content. And Mark and DT, look, DT is not my favourite person in the world, but you know, he's out there putting out content, and if that helps people get through these difficult times, then I'm all for it. Are Liverpool going to win the league? How do I pronounce it? Mr. Yeet. Can we go with Yeet? Is that okay? I hope so. Yes, mate, is what I would say. I'm trying to work backwards through my notes tonight so I don't miss anything, which is not what I usually do. So I did say earlier on about the Reds. The Reds are reportedly set to return to training next week, but interestingly, it's not going to be at Melwood. The Echo have reported that the training will be done via video link, and it's to help to keep the players maintain their fitness levels, obviously, during this enforced break. So it's no surprise, really. You would be sure that the club will be in contact with them. I think they've got their own personal training plans, their own nutrition schedules and stuff like that as well. But it is good to see that it's getting a little bit more structured as well as they look towards moving back to some normality at some point. But yeah, good to see that players will be getting some more instruction. Robert said, thanks for this, Craig. Okay, movies in isolation, but it's football news first. Absolutely, Robert, mate. Absolutely. I'm like you in that I've been lashing Netflix out of it, and of course Disney Plus since that started as well, which is brilliant, by the way. If I'm not a Disney fan, but even I have to admit, the selection of stuff on Disney Plus is fantastic, and we bought an annual subscription for, like, before it launched, for I think it was €59 or something like that. But unbelievable, 600 Simpsons episodes. I feel like I'm giving you guys a sales pitch for Disney Plus here, but it really is good. You've got National Geographic on there as well, Star Wars, loads of other bits and pieces. But on Netflix, I'm sure you guys are lashing that out of it for sure. Right, Harry said, would you eventually just be on Hot Mic, or will you also stream on YouTube? We will never be leaving YouTube, Harry. Never, mate. Hot Mic is an extra platform that we think will give people an extra dimension to the way that we do Watchalong. So that's mainly what Hot Mic will be for down the line. Obviously, with no football as things stand, Hot Mic has been used for other stuff for us and other broadcasters. I mean, the Anfield Rap are doing some brilliant stuff on there. They're doing some retro games and stuff like that as well, which of course we're going to do. We haven't forgotten about the fact we told you we'd do a watch along of, what are we talking about? 2005 Champions League final. Sorry, I was confused. I bet Milner's fully fit and ready to play. You know Jimmy Milner. You know Jimmy Milner, Liz. He's at home now. Did you see the video of him sharpening pencils, saying that the kids in the Milner house were not getting away with anything? No slacking in the Jimmy Milner house, and I'd absolutely believe that. Right, let's keep going. Any transfer updates? Yes, actually, Benjamin. I do have a few things on transfers that I will go through in a few minutes. I just want to say hello to a few more people that have popped in. I wonder if any of the players have a cheeky drink while in isolation. I don't know, mate. I mean, I would give them the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know. Maybe a sneaky glass of wine, I don't know. Liam, I'm good, thank you, mate. I hope you're well as well. Arnie, I do remember you, and you don't have to ask every time you come in now that we remember you. We remember you now. You need a game, really, for Hot Mic to boom, Craig. Exactly, Kate, you've nailed it. It is a platform that is built for watch-alongs and built for broadcasting games like that. And maybe when we do the Champions League game, the rerun of it, we'll just do it on Hot Mic. It makes more sense to just do it on Hot Mic. Milner's a legend, said Super Mario 2 Glitch Hunters. He is, yes, without a shadow of a doubt. UK in lockdown, but not as much as Italy and France and Spain, said Sam. Yeah, obviously all the countries now are starting to ramp things up and trying to make sure that they don't put too much strain on their national health services, which is, I think, the most important factor now, that everybody that needs treatment can get treatment. So, again, don't want to talk about that too much, buddy, because we're here to talk about the Reds and talk about football. Did you see the Milner 11 made from stuff in his gaff? No, I didn't. I had heard that he did an isolation an isolation best 11 or something like that, but I haven't watched it yet. Yibber said, Craig, Upamecano, what do you think of him when Lovren leaves? I think he would be class. He is a very good defender. I've seen other clubs linked to Upamecano, the guy from Leipzig. Lovren looks like he probably will move on this summer. And again, later on I'll be talking about Paul Gorst of the Echo, who did a bit of a Q&A earlier on. And yeah, it looks like, to most of us, believe Lovren will probably move on in the summer. Who comes in? That's the $64,000 question, isn't it? Because do you go for experience? Do you go for somebody like Upamecano? Do you go for Jonathan Tad? Do you go for Diego Carlos? There was somebody else we were linked to the other day as well. Oh, Gimenez from Atleti. Do you go for somebody like him, even though Gimenez has like a £109 million buyout clause or something in his Atletico contract and is tied to the club until 2023? So, I can't see us going and dropping £109 million on a defender to come in and compete with Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez. But yeah, I would believe, if I was a betting man, which I am, I would say that Dejan Lovren is more than likely going to leave in the summer. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Would I sign Jota, the Wolves player? No. Sometimes, mate, and look, Jota's a good footballer, as is Gimenez, as is Adama Traore. I just think sometimes players are suited to systems more. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I could well be wrong, but was Jota not linked to United at some point recently? Again, if I'm wrong on that, apologies. There's so many links these days, it's hard to keep up. Do you think Werner will come, said Benjamin. Yes, I do. I really do, mate. I mean, I can't see any way he doesn't. Now, I know that somebody from Leipzig came out recently to say that they've received no bids and that his future is still up in the air. But look, I think the groundwork has been done. I think the flattery has been given out from Timo Werner towards Liverpool. And I think he's got lots of love back as well. So we know what the price is. It's rumoured to be around €60 million, £51-52 million, depending on what the exchange rate is. Let's wait and see what happens. I hope so. I really, really hope so. Of all the transfer business, and it's good news is, with regards to transfer business, again, I spoke about Mr. Paul Gorse from the Echo doing a Q&A. The general consensus is that Liverpool are going to do business this summer, and it's not going to be a summer like last summer where we were looking at bringing in, one or two young players. I think this summer you're going to see two or three, I don't want to say marquee signings, but two or three names coming in the door, two or three players that we're all a bit more familiar with. Is what confirmed, Just Labs? I've no idea what you're talking about, mate, with regards to is it confirmed. If you're talking about the league starting back, no, absolutely not. The first round of talks took place this week, and clubs around Europe are still confident the European leagues can be finished by June the 30th. Bring in Gary Cahill, said Casper. No, thank you, mate. I know he's having a decent run at Crystal Palace, but nah, not for me, mate. Arnie wants Lewandowski. A massive shout out to Robert Lewandowski as well, by the way, who donated $1 million. And look, Thomas, do you hear me? Roger Federer donated £1 million Swiss francs. And so many people are stepping up and just looking after their societies and stuff. Pep Guardiola donated €1 million. Somebody else donated $1 million as well. And I can't remember who for the life of me it is from the Premier League. No, was it Messi? It was Messi that donated $1 million as well, excuse me. We're going to win the league, and we're going to win the league, and we absolutely are going to win the league. Look, let's get to the sexy stuff, the transfer stuff, ladies and gentlemen, because there's loads of it to get through. So, let's start with one that kind of came out a little bit out of left field for me anyway. I'm not sure about you guys, but I've genuinely never heard of this gentleman. So, according to Arena Napoli, Liverpool are reportedly leading the race to sign Schalke's young centre-back, Malik Thiaw. I hope that's how you pronounce the gentleman's name. He has a £7 million release clause in his contract, and it's believed that Napoli, AC Milan and Paris Saint-Germain are also interested in signing him. You guys know anything about this dude? Because, hey, I've seen a little bit of Schalke, but I cannot say that I've noticed nor watched this gentleman playing. So, Malik Thiaw, or Thiaw, Thiaw. I'm not sure how you pronounce that one. Anybody seen this dude? Please do let me know about it. 7 million is very, very reasonable. If he is in any way credible and any way good enough to come in and compete with Matip and Gomez to play alongside Van Dijk, 7 million seems a very, very Michael Edwards-esque type of figure, doesn't it, to go out there and do some business. So, again, I'm going to put it over to you guys to see if you've heard of him, because I'm going to be honest, I haven't. Pep donated it to Spain. Yes, he did. I think it was, I don't know if it was to a hospital or to a charity, but he did indeed donate it in Spain, which is wonderful to see. The Milner video is very funny. He completely lost it, said Michael McMahon. Chum change for them, but a nice gesture. Look, it is definitely a nice gesture, mate. I mean, as Tesco say, every little helps, and it really does in these circumstances when people are stretched to their limits like that. People stepping up. You got to give them credit for it. No, his name is Malik, so Malick, and then the second name is Thiaw, Thiaw, mate. That's the guy's name. Brian says Shane Long was going to post a cheque for $1 million to the HSE, but he missed the post box slot. Oh, I was getting my hopes worked up there for a minute, Brian. Young Irish said, and welcome, mate. I'm not sure if you've been with us before, if it's your first time, but lovely to have you in. Said Mbappe wants 253 million. I say 53 because I just like saying it like that. To join. But I don't know what do you by that make. Do you mean as in a package of wages over the course of a contract, or is that the number that Paris Saint-Germain are willing to accept? Now, from everything that I've read, it seems even talking about Paul Gorst and the Echo, he seemed to think, like myself and many others, that Kylian Mbappe is probably a step too far for us in the transfer window, and it looks more than like, if he's gone anywhere, probably be to Real Madrid, unless something massive happens or somebody throws down a whole heap of money. There is something that I want to talk about later on with regards to Manchester City. Now, please do remind me, because it's very interesting. It's a really interesting development, so please do remind me to talk about it. But what were we talking about there? He's been called a mini Matip, said Tiernan. I like that. Obviously, Joe Matip came to us from Schalke as well. The mini Matip, I like that one. Milner's developed a sense of Scouse humour since he's been at Liverpool. He never would have made funny videos at City, said Bernadette. He is hilarious. Jimmy Milner on social media is class. If you don't follow him, you're missing out. Go over there and give him a follow. What have we got? Liverpool will only spend big on game changers. No way they'll spend 50 million on a fourth choice centre back. So Malik Thiaw at 7 million fits the bill. I'm kind of with you, Neil. I've said all along, and people can go back and watch streams, I said I don't see the need for us to go out and spend that much money on somebody who's going to come in and challenge to be probably third choice centre back, because as things stand, Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk are Jurgen Klopp's go-to, the first choice pairing. So yeah, I think it makes sense, mate. I agree with you. Scotty said Robbo's also class on social media, and of course Robbo is a damn legend as well. I believe he made a massive donation to some food banks up in Glasgow as well, which, it's why we love Andy Robertson, isn't it? He's such a nice fella. Billy Joe said, I'm trying to stay positive. Come on, I don't see the league finishing in June, maybe September. Hey mate, look, I'm with you. If you watch back at the start of the stream, Billy, I said I would be a bit pessimistic about that date as well. But what I want to stress, Billy, is that's a date that the leagues around Europe are currently talking about. And that as things stand, and it's early in the talks, mate, there's going to be a few more phone calls, I'm sure, over the coming weeks. They believe that it is possible to still finish leagues around Europe by that date. I'm like you, Billy Joe, excuse me. I don't really think it'll get done that early. I don't think it'll be safe enough for everybody to get back playing by then. So I think, mate, like you, it might go on a little bit later on. And as I said, FIFA are looking at ways to change the dates of the transfer window for this summer as well. Haven't got specifics on that just yet, but I think they are working on it, along with many other things. What else we got? Craig is also class on social media, just saying, I don't use it anymore, mate. This is my only form of social media. Connor runs our Twitter account. Connor runs our Instagram account. This is my only form of social media these days. I'm trying to cut it right back because, God, I spend too much time on Twitter. I spend so many fucking hours on Twitter. Yibber, how are you, buddy? He said, Gomez is still young, though. I think Upamecano will be perfect signing for 50 million. Subi said, Craig, can't wait to see Werner being a winner against City next season. I really do. I can't see any way it doesn't happen. Unless somebody comes in and blows us out of the water with wages that we're not willing to pay and a transfer fee that's over the odds. I'm very confident of Werner. I'll get to the Paul Gorst stuff as well, actually, because I did say Mr. Gorst was doing a Q&A. I call loads of people Mr. and I don't know why. I think I just want to be respectful of people I don't know, perhaps. So, during a Q&A, Paul Gorst of the Echo has said that Adrian will remain as Alisson Becker's understudy going into next season. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do not know Paul Gorst, nor do I want to speak badly of him. This is probably more wishful thinking on my point of view, but I hope he isn't. I can't hide it anymore. I've allowed mistake 1, mistake 2, mistake 3 and mistake 4. But I think there's been a few too many from Adrian, even as a backup goalkeeper. So, I sincerely hope that we go out in the summer and bring in somebody, I won't say to challenge Alisson Becker, but somebody who is more of a step up as a backup than Adrian. Adrian has had some fantastic moments for us. There is no doubt about that, but he doesn't seem to be able to have the level of consistency that we would need. Like, let's say, of a Romero that United have. I think we need somebody of that level. And look, they're difficult to find because goalkeepers don't want to sit on the bench. Goalkeepers want to come in and play. But what I had read previously, and football is a fast evolving market, I had read that there was serious interest from Real Betis in bringing back Adrian in the summer. Now, I don't want to disagree with Mr. Paul Gorst. As I said, maybe it's just wishful thinking from my point of view. But I hope, I'm going to say I think, because it's a nicer word than hope, that Adrian won't be here next summer, or at the start of next season, I should say. What do you guys think? Would you be happy enough if Adrian stayed at the club? Yeah, there's no way we're getting all black, mate. Like, be reasonable here. But you're hardly going to go out and break the world record again for a goalkeeper after breaking the world record for a goalkeeper. He's probably the best goalkeeper in the world. So I think back in the day when Kloppo and Michael Edwards and the team were looking at goalkeepers, I'm sure Jan Oblak was on their list, but Alisson is perfectly suited to the way we play football, mate. And I love Oblak. I'm a massive fan of Jan Oblak, but there's no way we're coming out and getting him. Elijah John 5 is in the house. How are you, mate? Shay Trainer's in as well. Lovely to see you, buddy. Do you think we should sell Naby Keita? Said Mike Oxlong. How are you, Mike? No, I don't, mate. And it seems, and from what I've read, the phrase that was used the other day, Mike, about Naby Keita is that Jurgen Klopp's faith in Naby Keita remains unshaken. That's the phrase that I remember from an article I read out the other day. He was also on a list, though, of players that had been mentioned by other newspapers, and I can't remember who they were off the top of my head, Mike, along with Divock Origi, Lallana, Kleiny, Lovren, and maybe Adrian, as players who could possibly move on this summer. But I don't think that Jurgen Klopp will sell Naby Keita. I think he will give him another season to prove himself. He's still quite young, don't forget as well. Young Irish said, couldn't agree more, Craig. We need somebody like Areola. It's a decent shout, mate. Realistically, we can only sign a backup keeper if Adrian leaves on his terms. Well, not really, mate. He's not on a whole heap of money, to be fair, and he's got 1 year left on his contract, I believe. So, Luis Alberto, I don't think so. Okay, where was it? He was linked with a move somewhere from Lazio. Now, he's done very well since going to Lazio. There's no denying that. But I think it's because the league suits him. And I don't know if a move back to England, particularly to us, would work for Luis Alberto. But like any former Liverpool player, I genuinely wish him well with the rest of his career. What have we got? No need to keep Adrian. Jack Butland rather than Adrian, said Casper. For the amount of games Adrian has played, he's made too many mistakes for me, said Dylan Naughton. Subi said, I'd give Jack Butland as a backup, but really want to be backup. I don't think he would. I agree, Subi. I think Jack Butland would want to play some games. Tiernan said, Werner, Odegaard and Saka. Boom, sorted. You're not going to get any argument from me, mate. I mean, I might have a little bit of an argument with you about Odegaard because I don't think Real Madrid will let him go. I think he's doing pretty well on loan at Sociedad. But the other two, Saka, I've talked about loads of times. I'd love to have Saka as a backup left-back option. 18 months or so, maybe a bit less now on his Arsenal contract, and he looks like a very good young player. So it's a good show. Shay said, Werner, Upamecano for a combined 100 mil would be a masterclass. Bring back Pepe Reina, said Simon. I'm a huge Pepe fan, but even I think he's gone a step too far. He is a pale imitation of Pepe Reina. When I've seen him playing for Napoli, I didn't actually see too much of him when he was at AC Milan. And when I've seen him playing at Aston Villa, he hasn't impressed me, to be honest. Did I hear that Liverpool launched emergency food bank appeal? I did not, Eugene. I had heard that they had donated, of course, and I had heard that they've offered, and I say Liverpool have offered them, but of course the stewards would play a massive part in this. Their services to local supermarkets to help with crowd control and queuing and stuff like that. Best joint of the day, watching Anfield Agenda, said Thomas Smith. Nice one, mate. Get it into you, pal. Why not relax? It's time to kick back and relax, mate. And hopefully we can give people a little bit of a break from the headache that we all have at the minute. Gabrielle said, give Adrian a chance. He hasn't been here for a season. Remember, he was a penalty winner for the Super Cup. Yeah, he was, no doubt about it, mate. And at the start of the season, when Alisson wasn't available, he did put a decent run of games together, but he also does have a lot of mistakes in him. And being knocked out of the Champions League, it's a tough one to take, pal. It is a tough one to take. But there's no doubt he's a lovely fella. But it's a ruthless business, this football. And I think we could do better. That's just my opinion. Top assist maker in Europe, Luis Alberto, said Brian. I just don't think he's good enough for us, Brian. Again, I'm happy to have a conversation about this with other people, but I watch quite a bit of Lazio, obviously because Lucas Leiva is there. I don't think he'd make it at Liverpool. Young Irish said, we're being linked to players like Mbappe and Werner, but with the team we have, I can't see them fit in. It's easy to see Werner fit in, mate, to be fair. He's tailor-built for the way we play football. And let's not forget that with the amount of games we play, Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane and Bobby Firmino are going to need to be rotated, and Werner's an ideal rotation player. Like if Milner towards the end of the season, Werner would fit in perfectly. Why would Milner have any relation to us signing Timo Werner? Why would a striker and a midfielder have any correlation, mate? And he's not retiring, he just signed a new contract. Elijah John 5 said Grealish he's not too sure about. I think for me there's better value in the market than Grealish, but Grealish is one hell of a player and has definitely stepped up this season in the Premier League. Would I swap Salah for Sancho? Yes, I would. Hand on heart, mate, I'm not going to lie. I come on here and give my honest opinion every night. I would swap Mohamed Salah for Sancho. Yes, I would. What about you guys in the chat? Reza has asked, would I swap him? I've given you my answer. I don't want to lose Salah, but if that offer was on the table, yes, mate, I would swap him. What do you guys think? Would you swap Mo Salah for Jadon Sancho? Craig, would you be happy if we don't sign anyone this summer? No, Shay, I'm not joking, mate. I would. If I had hair, I'd pull it out. We need to bring in a couple, Shay, minimum this summer. And we had a quiet summer last summer, and I understood completely why. But nah, mate, this summer we need to be putting our hands in our pockets. Which backup keeper would I sign? If he would be willing to come, I like Handanovic, but you know he's playing games at Inter, and I don't know if he's willing to come to Liverpool. But he's got the age profile of the type of keeper that I'd be looking at. It's a ruthless business, says Elijah John 5. Head before heart. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on YouTube, which of course you are, because it's the only platform we're on tonight, please do hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the stream as well. If you want to get used to those cool emojis that some people are using in the chat, like the Mo Salah one Rodders just used there, and you want to become a member, please do hit the join button where you can sign up to become a member of Anfield Agenda for just 99p or 99 cent a month. And it really does help out the channel as well. And of course, if you want to help us out in another way without having to put your hand in your pocket, as you can see on the screen, we also stream it on Hot Mic as well as a platform moving forward. Download that Hot Mic app for free via the Google Play Store or the App Store on Apple. You can put in the code Anfield Agenda, all one word, all capital letters as your sign up. And that will of course help us out massively financially without you guys having to put your hand in your pocket. I can't give you numbers. I wish I could tell you numbers, but put it this way. You download that app and putting that code in, it's probably, I'd be eating 2 bags of Kyo's, put it that way. So what I mean, that's the level we're talking about here for you guys doing, and it's free for you to do, free to use. There's no ads on it as well. There's a chat function on the app and loads of other bits and pieces. There's a link in the description as well. Right, Young Irish said, I'd never swap Salah for Sancho. I just want Sancho to stay at Borussia and not sign for Manchester United. Right, on Sancho, I do want to talk about Jadon Sancho actually, because there are kind of conflicting reports across the media on Sancho. But I want to read out some of your comments first. What have we got? Think De Gea will be cool back up for Alisson. Yeah, I can't see that happening. Cape Town Muslim. Rodder's loving the emojis. It still freaks me out to see my emoji though. It really does. Even though it's been around a long time, it still freaks me out. Brian said, Sancho for Salah. Big call, but why the fuck not? Exactly. Of all the players in our front three, I would believe that Mohamed Salah is the one most likely to leave the club eventually. I think we probably have longer still to go from Bobby Firmino and Sadio Mane. I don't know. I've always got a feeling. We love Mohamed Salah and he loves playing for the club. And he's been brilliant, no doubt about it. But I just feel like there's another chapter in his career somewhere at some point. And look, I hope he stays for a very long time. But again, it's just my opinion. Who said 70 goals in 100 matches isn't good enough? Nobody's saying Mo Salah isn't good enough, mate. But look at it this way. Mohamed Salah is what, 27, 28 years of age? Doing really well, no doubt about it. But at a peak age for us getting any potential transfer fee from. I mean, he's right at the top of it now. You could probably get 150 mil for Mohamed Salah. Jadon Sancho is what, 19 years of age? 8 years younger than Mohamed Salah. The potential to get to be as good as Mohamed Salah. And we could get those 8 years and still sell him on down the line. That's my kind of thinking in these situations. And again, imagine him with the coaching of Jurgen Klopp as well. But on Jadon Sancho, as I said, there are kind of conflicting reports about him. Where is it? Yes, so the Evening Standard believe that Borussia Dortmund are expecting a bid from Liverpool for Jadon Sancho, but they believe that he'll join Manchester United. Now, here's my question on this, right? If the Evening Standard believe that Jadon Sancho will sign for Manchester United, that's absolutely fair enough, and I'm not discrediting what they're saying at all. I've no idea where he'll end up signing. But if they know that he wants to go to Manchester United, then you can bet your fucking ass that Liverpool know he may want to go to Manchester United. Now, let's work on the assumption that we know he does want to go to Manchester United, right? Why would Liverpool, or any club for that matter, make a bid for a player that they know wants to go somewhere else? Because usually, whether we want to admit this or not, the way this all works is the agent gets tapped up. Whether we want to admit this or not, the agent gets felt out and tapped up about whether the player would want to move. And usually, from my understanding of these situations, everything is pretty much agreed with regards to the length of contract, roughly what wages he wants and all of that stuff. And you get the nod from the agent to say he wants to come. And only at that point will you get to the club and put in an offer for the player. You're not going to go around throwing in offers for players willy-nilly, or offers for players that you know is going to want to go to another club. That's not how this works. Football, we don't want to talk about tapping up. It's the dirty secret of football, but it happens every single time. Whether it be through players on international duty tapping players up, whether it be through clubs representatives reaching out to players' agents, whatever it might be, it happens, and it happens all the time. For me, why would we put in a bid for a player that may have signalled his intent to go to Manchester United? He may well have, he may not have, I don't know. But what I'm saying is I don't think Liverpool are naive enough to do it if they know he wants to go to United. Again, I don't know where he wants to go, but that's just my take on it. Brian said Sancho has 10 years left on the top. Scotty said he agrees. After this, I don't even want to say the word, all the players will stay together. Trust me, said Barry. I'd swap Salah for his age and potential, or I'd swap simply for his age and potential, said Dylan. What have we got? Not a chance we should be selling Salah, said Connor, as in our own Connor, Mr. Crosby. United to bid on everyone, said Kate. Well, they are in a bit of a rebuilding process, to be fair, and they have brought in Bruno Fernandes. I think they're going to extend the loan of Igalo, because that loan, I believe, was only up until May the 31st, the end of May. So with the league being extended, they'll probably have to extend that one. Again, I'm not saying Sancho wants to go to United, Shay. I'm just saying that the Evening Standard believe Dortmund are expecting a bid from us, but that he'll join Manchester United. Again, why would we bid if we know he wants to go to United? I don't know. And I just don't know where the fuck he wants to go. Honestly, I haven't got a clue. Excuse me. Mane's linked with Real Madrid. He's always linked to Real Madrid, mate. He's been linked to Real Madrid for the last 3 windows, but he isn't going to Real Madrid. Sadio Mane's not going anywhere. As Connor said, Connor doesn't believe we should be selling Salah, and I don't believe so either. I was simply answering the question, would I swap Salah for Sancho? And I would. But I don't want Mo to go anywhere. I want us to be adding Jadon Sancho in. I want us to be adding Timo Werner in. I don't want us to be letting anybody go. But what I'm saying is, if I had to let go of one of the front 3, he'd be the one I'd let go. That's just my opinion. Right, what else is there? Dylan said I'd swap him simply for his age and potential. United thinks everyone's a United fan, so Cape Town Muslim. To be honest, we need a backup right back. We have young Ndicka Williams coming through, mate, who has shown a lot of potential at right back. Sometimes I've watched him play and I've actually forgotten it isn't Trent. I've just seen some lad bombing down the right hand side and I've forgotten it isn't Trent. So I think between him and Kylian Hoover, we're pretty much covered at options at right back, mate. So I think we're alright there, to be fair. I think it's left back where we need more cover. Willow said, no way, I couldn't see Jadon Sancho getting the same goals as Mo. I think we should buy Ajax's academy full of promise and talent. Look, they've been renowned for years of having a wonderful academy. And the difference, I suppose, at Ajax is not only that they have a wonderful academy, but they have a wonderful academy that then gives the guys more opportunities to play in the first team as well. Because the managers, they get a bit more leeway, whereas the pressure on the managers at the top of the Premier League to, get into the Champions League. I mean, Ajax are going to qualify for the Champions League pretty much every season unless there's an absolute catastrophe. I'd swap Adrian for Darren Randolph, said Stevie G. I don't know, mate. It's kind of like swapping one former West Ham keeper for another former West Ham keeper. Is Randolph at Middlesbrough these days? Is that where he is? Subi said, Craig, I'm waiting for Werner. I'm not going to lie, I'm a big fan of him. I swallow I'm not going to read your last word, mate, but whatever you do on your own time is up to you. Sancho is more of a team player than Salah. Imagine him linking up with Firmino. Simply fire. And then Shay said, if Sancho goes to United, we need to go all out for Werner and Havertz. Now, there is loads of talk about us looking for an attacking midfield player. And Kai Havertz should certainly be at the top of that list, as should Houssem Ouar. Again, I can't pronounce his name. For me, they're the top two of my list if we're looking at attacking midfield players or somebody to play in the hole behind. Tom Boland said, fuck me, Mane has more links than a chain. Michael McMahon said no, he wouldn't swap because it's been so long since seen a Liverpool player get 200 goals for us. And Mo is on his way, and I love the use of the 6 times emoji, mate. Well in. Fabio, how are you, mate? Lovely to see you as well. Nice of you to come in, mate. Appreciate it. Casper thinks if we can't get Sancho, go for Kai Havertz. And again, I know people aren't going to want to hear this, but I have a soft spot for Todd Cantwell. I think he's another young up-and-coming player from the Norwich Academy that, we could be our Norwich production line, I should say, that we could be looking at. I mean, he's rumoured to be around 30 million or so, and I think Todd Cantwell is a very tidy footballer. Could be a like-for-like, almost Adam Lallana replacement, albeit he plays more wide on the left-hand side. I just think he seems to have the silky skills and footwork of a Lallana. I'm a fan of his, I'm not going to lie. Brian said, big clubs sell big players. It's always been the way and it'll happen for us. The trick, I suppose, and I'll finish your comment. This year or next year, somebody will move on and new players will show they weren't irreplaceable. The trick in these situations, Brian, and you're a massive football fan, mate, who's watched it for decades like myself, it's the timing of these sales. As much as I don't want to give him credit for it, Sir Alex Ferguson was a master at selling players just at the right time. And I think Jurgen Klopp probably has that same understanding of the right moment to move a player on. Liam's in the house. How are we, Mr. Granby? He said, hello, Craig, my mate. Late in tonight. Sorry, pal. How's tricks? All good, Limo. I hope you're keeping safe and well as well. Liz said, I want a surprise signing we don't see coming. They work out well. They do, without a shadow of a doubt. Thinking back to Fabinho, worked out absolutely fantastic. Andy Robertson worked out absolutely fantastic. And I'm expecting big things again for the rest of this season and next season from Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. What a player he is when he's in full flow. Harry Kane's back training as well, I believe, so he could be back ready to go when the season gets underway. I just remember Karius will be back here next season. Your thoughts? No, he won't, mate. We spoke about this the other night. Besiktas look like they don't want to make the move for Karius permanent, but from what I've read, his agent has already held talks with Sporting Lisbon about Karius going and playing for Sporting Lisbon. So, although it looks like Besiktas won't take that loan to buy agreement, or take up the option on that loan to buy agreement, I think he will go either to Sporting Lisbon or back to Germany. He'd also been linked with Anderlecht. I think I said Copenhagen the other night, but it's Anderlecht. So he won't be coming back to Liverpool, that's for sure. Unless, of course, it's for a couple of weeks while the transfer gets sorted out in pre-season. Andrew Childerhose is in the house. How are you, my friend? Said, hello, Craig. I was worried after your last Hot Mic stream. I went to Hot Mic and I don't see your stream. Clearly I'm late, so you probably addressed it. I thought tonight, mate, we'd just stream on YouTube because I don't want to put pressure on people to download Hot Mic and put in the code Anfield Agenda, link in the description below. I don't want to put any pressure on people, mate, but yeah, look, I was saying to people earlier on in the stream, the other night I was just after finishing a 2-week course of antibiotics, hadn't been sleeping well. I think I'd streamed almost every night for, 2 weeks. I was just exhausted, mate, and I probably got the better of me, and it wasn't my best moment. So again, if anybody felt let down by my demeanour the other night, then look, I apologise. I understand people come in here to get a release from their problems and not to have my problems added to them. So again, I do apologise for not being myself the other night, but hey, look, I am human. I know I look like a machine, the physique of a machine, a well-carved machine, oiled to within an inch of its life, but there is a real man behind this machine. Anyway, Brian said, Ferguson was the master. Anyone they saw was always finished, but nobody ever realised it. Red for Life said, you're right, it's all about time. It can be a good thing, like selling Coutinho. It can be heartbreaking to losing Torres. Torres was a great example, mate. We never seen Fernando Torres get to the peak or the levels that he was playing at Liverpool when he left and went to Chelsea and then back to Atletico. Right, what else is there? Lee Miser said, I love your Liverpool streams. When I'm down, I'm always watching the Liverpool news from you, which makes me happy. Keep up the good work. Thank you, sir. That really means a lot to me. Really does. Thank you. It was a smooth plug, Connor. I was fucking proud of it. It was a smooth little plug for Hot Mic, for sure. I mean, the way I said Hot Mic, link in the description below, put in the code Anfield Agenda, it's available in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. It was seamless, wasn't it? It's like I almost wasn't plugging Hot Mic, that there is a link in the description below, by the way. It was seamless, for sure. Who's my favourite Liverpool player of the decade? Ooh, belter of a question, that, mate. Belter of a question, Gabriel. Thank you. Right, my favourite Liverpool player of the past decade. I'm trying to think back how long I'll get away with including Steven Gerrard in this, but realistically, no. There's been 6 years or so, so... Do you know what? I'm going to go with the captain. I'm going to go with Jordan Henderson. Yeah, I'm going to stick behind the captain, so I'm going to go with Hendo. What have we got? No problems, mate. Chill, love you, bud, said Thomas. Thank you, pal. Keegan, how are you, buddy? I'm alright, thank you, mate. Really appreciate you asking. Your performance was outstanding, said Dara. You're a gent, sir. I really appreciate it. Craig, do you rate Manuel Lanzini? Yes and no. I mean, before he did his ACL, I think, was it before the last World Cup or was it the Copa America? He did his ACL recently anyway, and has come back for West Ham. And unfortunately, as of yet, he hasn't looked like the same Manuel Lanzini. And he was somebody that we were linked with at one point, mate, just before he did that ACL. But I as of yet, and it can take a while to come back from this, he hasn't looked like the same player. And I've even heard that from West Ham fans. Neo said, we were concerned for you, not upset by you. That's a lovely way of putting it, Neo. Thank you, mate. You were just plain knackered, Stace. I was absolutely wrecked, mate. No doubt about it, for sure. Mentally drained and absolutely wrecked. Smooth as the cream in a Twinkie. It's been ages since I had a Twinkie, Brian. Ages. Right. Reza said, Genie, in my opinion, should be played further upfield, like in the Netherlands. He has good heading abilities and always gets goals. If not Donny van der Beek, young and promising. Yeah, the beauty of Genie, Reza, is unlike everybody else, I hope that these positive noises about him potentially being about to sign the new deal are true. Because I think Klopp definitely wants him to stay. I've yet to come across a fan who doesn't love Genie Wijnaldum. But like you've touched on, mate, the beauty of Genie is that he can play, if needs be, in a 6. He can play in an 8. Or he can almost play in a 10, like you've spoken about for Holland, a little bit further forward. And it is that versatility that makes him such a valuable asset to this team. And you're not going to get any arguments from me about Genie, mate. I absolutely love him. Now, Donny van der Beek looks nailed on to go to Real Madrid. But then again, that fell through last year. I don't think they could quite put the funds together to get it done. So, if there's serious talk of them going after Mbappe, can they afford to go after Donny van der Beek as well? And I think they're trying to do up the Bernabeu as well, aren't they? They're trying to revamp that stadium. Right, good point. City's court case must be in the air. I did tell you to remind me about Manchester City, so thank you for reminding me because I almost forgot. Right, this is interesting. And I don't know how much truth there is in this, so I'm going to be very careful about how I word what I'm about to say. So brace yourselves. The Daily Mail, yes, it is the Daily Mail, but bear with me, believe that Liverpool are among 8 clubs that have written to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, who are the body that Manchester City have appealed their ban to, in a bid to stop Manchester City taking part in next season's Champions League. Manchester United, Chelsea and Arsenal, along with other clubs that are mentioned in the report. It also suggests that 8 of the Premier League's top 10 clubs have written to the same law firm to inquire about it. Enough is enough is a phrase that gets brought up in the article, as well as for too long City have been able to get away with breaching the rules at the expense of at least one other club that has been unable to get into the Champions League. Big development this, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't see it coming. I thought that the Premier League clubs would have kept themselves to themselves and seen how this Manchester City 2-year ban and their appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport works out. Now, it could be that they've only started to think about it because with the delay in the cases being heard in the Court of Arbitration for Sport, I don't even think that Manchester City's case has a date yet because of what's going on in the world right now and the delays that are taking place. And with the uncertainty about when this season will finish, I think that Premier League clubs are just making, if this is true, and I don't know if it is or not, just making their feelings very clear on it. And it's interesting to me. And I wonder who the club is that they were talking about, or maybe there is no specific club that they were saying was unable to get Champions League because of the City situation. So, yeah, again, some strong words used in there. The phrase "enough is enough," which is a direct quote that I took from it. And for too long, City have been able to get away with breaching the rules at the expense of at least one other club. I don't know. I'm going to hand it over to you, ladies and gentlemen. I've said all along, it isn't for me to judge. I mean, I have an opinion on it for sure, but I don't know enough. But something that I heard on Sky Sports News, I think Havertz said that he spoke to a prominent sports lawyer who said that he believes Manchester City will win the repeal quite simply because they have more money than UEFA. Now, I'm not qualified to give an in-depth opinion on this, but it seems like it stinks a little bit to me from the outside. And you don't want to hear the phrase, they'll get away with it because they've got more money than the governing body. That doesn't fill you full of hope, does it? That doesn't fill you full of belief that they'll get away with it because they're not guilty. I mean, that's what we all... If they're not guilty, by all means, they get away with it. No problem. But you don't want anybody to get away with anything simply because they've got the readies, like. Fowler was the best at Dara. I mean, he's not in the last decade, though. He's definitely not in the last decade. Craig, without football this long, it'll put some football teams in some danger of being to administration, said Willow. Yes, and there are funds put in place, Willow. I think the EFL have announced a package of 50 million for Football League clubs. There will probably be more talks to maybe get the Premier League to try and put their hands in their pockets as well. But, I mean, you go right down through the divisions down, Willow, below to non-league clubs. And it's one thing a club gone out of business through financial mismanagement, which can happen, and we have seen happen with Bury and the like, but no football club should go out of business because of what's happening in the world right now. And I think that everybody will fight tooth and nail. I don't know the extent of the package that was released by the British government towards employees. I mean, I'm an Irish citizen, so I don't really know. But I believe there is some help there for businesses of the likes of lower league football clubs, and maybe even EFL clubs, to get the assistance that they might need to get through this period. But yeah, absolutely, nobody should be gone out of business for something that is beyond everybody's control. Sheffield United are talking about players' wages because I can't say the word, mate, but you know what I'm talking about. It's tough to think of a Premier League club struggling to pay wages, and even clubs that are down in the Championship that still have the balloon payments, or parachute payments, I should say, from the Premier League. It's tough to think that they can't get through this. Now, if players are willing to take a cut in wages, by all means, go ahead and do it if that's okay with them. Right, Casper said that even Burnley wrote to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. I didn't know that was mentioned, mate, but thank you. Again, I love all this extra information. And if you guys have any opinion on the whole Manchester City thing, or something that you've read maybe about another club, please do put it in the chat and let me know. Right, what else is there? Brian said the Court of Arbitration for Sport, or CAS as it's often abbreviated to, have 16 cases to hear before the Manchester City case. I think what the letter says is that they want UEFA to ban them if they try to put a stay on it because of what's going on in the world right now. I could be wrong. That's what Brian had to say. I appreciate that, Brian, as always. A man with a lot of facts, and I always appreciate your input, even if we don't always agree, buddy. What else is there? Remember, it's difficult for me to read out comments here, and because what I love about our chat is that you guys have little chats amongst each other as well, and I always love the friendly nature of our chat. But I'm just trying to pick out comments in between or questions that people have. Let me just read through some more of my notes actually, so I don't forget anything. Right, I did say that Mr. Paul Gorst of the Echo said that Adrian will probably remain, but there was a few other bits and pieces as well. He also went on to say that he believes the Reds will be active in this summer transfer window and not just bring in youngsters like last summer. He said Mbappe is unrealistic, which I agree with, but he said Sancho is more realistic, but still a long shot. I don't know if maybe Manchester United fans are more vocal on social media about Sancho, or if maybe Sancho does prefer a move to United. I don't know, but what I can say is I've yet to see many credible links for Liverpool to Sancho, but that doesn't mean anything. We didn't see any credible links for us to Takumi Minamino or to Fabinho or to Andy Robertson, and they got done. We know that Michael Edwards and Liverpool like to do their business quietly, efficiently, and act quickly. And as myself and Brian have mentioned on the stream before, Liverpool get their transfer business sorted out a long time in advance. We're not reactionary with our signings. Even Minamino was being scouted for quite a long time before that move took place. Keegan said Craig will feel better after a watch along. Mate, I wish we'd be back doing a watch along. I'm going to talk to Connor in the coming days to figure out exactly what day we're going to do that watch along of the 2005 Champions League final. But it will only be on Hot Mic, and this is for technical reasons, not just because we're trying to push people over to Hot Mic. It's because we're going to be using YouTube to watch the game, so we won't be able to stream on that at the same time. So we will be doing the watch along of the Miracle of Istanbul on Hot Mic only. What? Is there a link in the description? There is a link in the description, yes. What code do you use? It's just Anfield Agenda, all capital letters, all one word. And give us a follow as well when you get onto Hot Mic and put in that code. Do I think Liverpool are the best team in the world because other than the Premier League we've gone out of any other competition? Well, there's this little trophy, Benjamin, called the Club World Cup that we hold, which says without any doubt that we are the best club in the world. That sexy ass gold badge, mate, that's on the front of our shirt for European games, for FA Cup games, that means we are the best team in the world, pal. So as things stand, we have every right to say that we are the best team in the world, mate. But I get where you're coming from, but we're still the best team in the world, mate. It's all good. How are you, lad? Hope you're having a good day, said Callum. I'm okay, thank you, mate. Yeah, today's been a decent enough day. Nice and quiet. Describing our transfer system is like describing a contract killing company, said Tiernan. I get where you're coming from, mate, although probably not the words I would have used. Right, what have we got? About 20 minutes left on tonight's stream, ladies and gentlemen. So if there's anything else you want to talk about, any more questions or comments or thoughts that you have or anything that you've read that you want to bring up, please do feel free to put it into the chat. And again, if you're watching this later on, make sure to leave a comment below. And don't forget, ladies and gents, to hit that like button for me as well. And subscribe if you're enjoying the stream. Have I seen the black and pink kit leaked? No, I haven't, Ross. I've only seen the teal one, mate. No. But I'd love to know where I can view it though, Ross, because I do, love a leaked kit. Okay, what else we got? John said, can we also ban United from the Champions League? Oh wait, that's right, they ain't in it. They have a chance though. I mean, if the Manchester City ban was upheld, mate, and they dropped down to 5th place in the league, United have a chance, and they even have a chance maybe of reining in Chelsea and taking that 4th spot. So yeah, I mean, I love to poke fun at them as much as anybody else, mate, and obviously I hope they don't get Champions League football next season, but they do have a good chance, and I wouldn't have given them a snowball's chance in hell maybe 2 months ago. Right, Eugene said, what happens now when Premier League players are out of contract in the summer? That's the big problem, mate, which is why at the start of the stream we spoke about European leagues still hoping beyond hope, or maybe believing, maybe some of them, that they can get this all sorted out and done and dusted and all the leagues finished by June the 31st, because that is the date that any players whose contracts are up become free agents, like Adam Lallana and Nathaniel Klein. From our point of view, I think Willian at Chelsea, although he has said that he's going to stay beyond because a sense of duty or a love for the club or whatever it might be. So I think there will be some talks going on between all football clubs, UEFA, FIFA, and I spoke about the fact that FIFA are looking about maybe extending the transfer window or changing the dates of it. But I would imagine, mate, that all of these players would be happy enough to see out the seasons. But with that being said, Eugene, let's use Lallana as an example here. And I'm not saying that this is happening, but let's use it as an example. So Lallana is out of contract at the end of the season. Once it hit January, Adam Lallana was perfectly entitled to not just talk to, but sign a pre-contract agreement with any club outside of England. Now, as an example, let's say he signed for Sevilla. And he doesn't even have to tell Liverpool about it, I believe, because he's a free agent. So let's say he'd signed a pre-contract agreement with Sevilla, that he became a Sevilla player on the 1st of July. I don't know what happens right now, but I would assume that there's going to be a lot of goodwill from the player side and their agent side, and of course the clubs will have to financially facilitate maybe a little extension on these contracts as well. But as things stand, mate, I believe it's a work in progress, and it is a very, very tricky detail, and one that is in a long list of tricky problems for UEFA, for the European League, for the Premier League, and for players right now. And no, Reza, somebody else asked me about Goldberg's and DT stream, and I didn't see it, mate, but I'm sure it was very entertaining. Right, Ronnie said, Craig, just a quick question, mate. Do you think Liverpool will start having games on TV without Sky or BT, so we can sub to the club? It's something that I hope happens, Ronnie, and not just in Liverpool. I hope it's the Premier League. So look, I'll use La Liga TV as an example. Right now, I have La Liga TV, which means I can watch every single game on La Liga. And now look, they're done differently in that it's very rare that the games are overlapped. They're usually staggered over the course of a weekend from Friday to Monday. So no two games have the same kickoff time, or very rarely have the same kickoff time. Now, as things stand, we know that BT and Sky and the likes have paid a shit ton of money for Premier League rights. But I do agree with something that Simon Jordan said a while back, and that I think that the Premier League in the long term should be looking to keep their own rights and sell them automatically to customers or directly to customers, because it does stick in my throat a little bit that as Liverpool fans in Ireland and the UK, and again it's different to different parts of the world, so I can only speak from Ireland and the UK, that we cannot legally watch every single Liverpool game. It seems ludicrous that we can't do that. Now, I don't know what sports are like in America, but let's say you're a fan of the New England Patriots. Surely you get to watch every New England Patriots game. Surely there's a package that you can buy that will allow you to watch every Pats game. Surely. I think it has to be the way forward, mate. And I think direct selling like that to consumers via, let's say, a Premier League app or a Premier League channel, they'd have to figure out a way that payments the clubs maintain and that everybody gets a decent cut of the cake. But I do think long term it has to be the way, and I also think that virtual reality might have a massive part to play in this as well. And by virtual reality, what I mean is, let's say you could buy a virtual reality season ticket. So you're sitting at home, and you might like this idea, but bear with me. You're sitting at home and you whack on your virtual reality goggles and you're sitting in row 17 of the Kop. And you get to look left and look right and have the same view as everybody that's in the Kop. You get to hear the actual noises of the Kop. Imagine how many season tickets clubs could sell. So right now Liverpool are limited to 54,000 in Anfield, and other clubs are limited to their capacities. Imagine how many virtual season tickets clubs could sell, and you still get to have that match day atmosphere. And let's say when you're watching the game, you're watching Liverpool, and Liverpool are attacking, the ball goes out on the right hand side to Trent Alexander-Arnold. He whips in a cross, somebody scores, and they go flash sale on Trent Alexander-Arnold training shirts and shirts right now in the Liverpool store. Tap on here and use this code. That pops up on your little screen in front of you. I think that is also something that we have to embrace moving forward as well, and I fully believe the football clubs will. Right. Man9905 said, am I the only one who wants this year's league title even if we can't celebrate it with fans at Anfield? No, I think everybody wants us to win it, mate. I don't want us to win it. I don't want us to be given it, is what I'm saying. I want us to win it. So I want the league to finish. If that's behind closed doors because of safety, so be it. There will be a time where the club will celebrate with their fans. We'll do the parade and all of that stuff, mate. But I think everyone's with you that we want to win the league title and not have this whole season scrapped. Craig, do you reckon the game when we wrap up the league title will be shown live on LFC TV? No. They don't have the rights, Liam, to show any games on LFC TV. What usually happens is, let's say we play on a Saturday at 3 o'clock. I believe Liverpool LFC TV are allowed to show those games then after midnight on that night on the channel. But it won't be shown live, mate. No, it'll be on Sky or BT, because let's remember, they paid an awful lot of money for the rights to show Premier League football. And of course Amazon dipped into the market as well for those 2 rounds of games this year around Christmas time. Right, what else is there? You're in your house going mental in the middle of the Kop. What an idea, said Keegan. And it's very doable. I mean, I've spoken to people who work in the virtual reality industry, and they were telling me that it would only take maybe the club giving up, say, 3 or 4 seats in each stand for these cameras to be able to be put in place for those to be sold, mate. The technology, I believe, is in existence already, so yeah, don't rule it out for sure. Like, imagine you got to watch an open training session as well, and as I said, a flash code came up to say click on here to get 10% off the, Nike's new training kits or something like that. I think it's definitely the future. Have I ever went to Sizzle's Chipper? Where is it, Stevie? And then I'll let you know, mate, because I don't even, if I got going to a takeaway sometimes, I don't even look up at the name of it. I know it's not in Gorey, At least I think it's not in Gory. So, yeah, where is it, mate? And I'll hopefully answer you. Elijah John for you were talking to Stephen, that's okay. Red for Life said, that's a class idea, Craig, you should tell them. They've been told it, mate. The person that I've spoken about, they pitched to many clubs in the Premier League, and some were a bit more receptive and some weren't, but again, it will all come down to the rights issues as well. Your thoughts on Vidal Riley? Why does that, I don't know, why does that name ring a bell? Is he the coach? Am I getting confused? Was he KSI's coach, or am I thinking of somebody else, mate? I'm a bit confused here, Dara. Elijah John 5 was talking about Graham Souness. Outside Gory on a turn. Outside Gory? I don't know where it is, mate. Is it... Oh! Is that the one that's in Ballycanoe? Is that it, Stevie? If it's the one in Ballycanoe, which is on the way to Wexford, no, I haven't eaten in it. I think that one is called Sizzle, so my memory serves correct. My thoughts on Sonny. I don't have any. As I said to you the other night, and I'll say it time and time again, he is not worth my time. He is not worth my energy. He is not worth me talking about him. He is irrelevant to me, mate. That's my thoughts on him. He's fucking irrelevant and will always be irrelevant to me. What did you think of Roy Evans' era? I thought we played some really good football under Roy Evans, mate. I love the way you're trying to bait me into saying something bad about somebody, mate, but it isn't going to happen. I don't talk badly about people behind their back. What I had to say to him, I said to him, I would say to his face, but in front of him on the screen with my microphone. That's what I had to say. You're not going to bait me into... I don't talk about people behind their back, mate. It's not my way. Oh, sorry, he's trained by the Mayweathers. I don't know enough about him, Dara. Then sorry, mate. I got completely mixed up. No, I don't know enough about him, mate. Sorry. That is the chipper. It's lovely. I must give it a bash, Stevie, someday when I'm driving past, mate. I haven't... I drive past it there. It used to be every Tuesday when I was going to my psychologist's appointment. But I never stopped. I must stop someday now that you said it's nice. Do I hate Richarlison, or how do I rate Richarlison? Excuse me, Cape Town Muslim. I think he's one of those players, again, that we talk about that has a bit of a snidey side to him, that if he's in your team or he's playing for your team, you like Richarlison. If he's not, he winds you up a lot. There is some talent there without a shadow of a doubt, but with Richarlison, for me, I would wonder... I'd wonder about his consistency. And I'd wonder about his... What's the phrase I'm looking for here? His concentration is probably the phrase I'm looking for. I don't know if he will be tuned in enough and tactically aware enough and tactically strict enough to play in a Jurgen Klopp team. But he's obviously a talented footballer, Richarlison, for sure. Roy Evans deserved more silverware, without a doubt. We played some really, really good football under Roy Evans. Really good football. Lovely. I mean, until we got Brendan Rodgers, I hadn't seen a style of football as open and as attacking as we played under Roy Evans. Yeah, you're right. They probably should have won more, mate, without a doubt. Roy Evans was never backed by the board the way he should have been. Wonderful football under him, just not allowed to get the players he wanted. And then obviously we know that Gerard Houllier came in and they were joint coaches, and that never works out, and then it ended up with Houllier taking over. What else is there? Do I ever watch Hotboxing with Mike Tyson? No, I meant to, though. Joe Rogan's spoken about it a few times. I think he's been on it, Barry, if my memory serves me correct. But no, I really should watch it, and I know it exists, which is a silly excuse because I like podcasts, I like Mike Tyson, I love boxing. Makes sense that I listen to his podcast, so yeah, I really should. Can we get a whoop whoop? Of course you can get a whoop whoop. Reza, can I get a people download Anfield or people download Hot Mic? Huh? Do me that one favour, ladies and gents. As I said to you before, I can't put a monetary number on it, but let's just say man's eating 2 bags of Kios for everyone that downloads Hot Mic and puts in that app or that code. And thank you. We have moved up one place in the Hot Mic league table. It doesn't actually have a league table, but you know they're listed. The channels are listed in order of, you know, how many followers that they have. And I think we're up to number 6, which is great. But with your help, we can push on towards number 5. Do I watch Going for Goldbridge podcast? No. But again, only because I don't really watch much stuff on YouTube, Stevie. I've nothing but admiration for Mark. He's a wonderful fella. Yeah, nothing but love. But I don't watch much stuff on YouTube. If only we had Van Dijk and Alisson in 1997 said Megas thing. I maxed out the number of accounts I can make. Good man, Keegan. Well in, pal. Well in, mate. Love it. Love the support, mate. Appreciate it. Again, let me just check that I've missed out anything in my notes. We've got about 5 or 10 minutes to go tonight, ladies and gents. So anything else you want to chat about, feel free to put it in. I've done that. 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 I've done everything. Nice. Right, I've gone through all of my notes, which is class. So Connor messaged me the other day, by the way, to say that he wants us to start putting out content soon and crack on. We would have been putting it out by now, only for, you know, the way things have developed. We've been put a little bit back, but bear in mind, and keep in mind, I should say, we will be putting out some crack on content very soon, and it will be completely different to what we do on here. Cash is going to come on, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, on Friday, so that'll be our next stream. I'm not going to stream tomorrow, but we will be streaming on Friday. I don't know if it'll be on both platforms or if it'll just be on YouTube, but either way, make sure you've got your YouTube notifications turned on and that you've subscribed. If you want to join up to become a member, please do hit that join button as well. 99p or 99 cent, depending on what part of the world you're in per month. Right, what else have we got? Do we think Lovren is going to Arsenal or Spurs if he stays in England, said Keegan. I don't. This is going to sound more rude than I mean it to, but would they be naive enough to sign Dejan Lovren? I don't know. He's been linked to both London clubs for sure, Keegan, but I don't know, mate. I would probably see him go to Spain or Italy at a guess, but he's definitely been linked to both London clubs, or North London clubs I should say. Is it illegal to make several accounts on Hot Mic? I don't know if it's illegal, mate. I don't know about the legalities of it. I'm sure that might be in their terms and conditions somewhere. I haven't got a clue. I would certainly say it's frowned upon, and we would like everybody to just make one account. What have we got? Lovren is a mixture, I'm going to use, Stevie, of David Luiz and Mustafi. Yeah, that's what I mean. Imagine having David Luiz and Lovren, or Mustafi and Lovren as your centre-back pairing. You wouldn't be full of confidence, even though Dejan Lovren does have the ability to put in a good game for sure, but yeah, I think he'll move on in the summer. Jack said, is there any chance of you sending me a bag of Kyo's for my birthday in a month's time? Not a fucking hope, mate. Not a hope that I'm sending you a bag of Kyo's. There's about 7 bags in the press, mate, and they're going in my belly. Joanne, wow, £20 super chat. Thank you so. Well, it's a super sticker actually. Sorry. Thank you for being you. That is so unbelievably kind of you, Joanne. Thank you. Really appreciate it, mate. You do so much for us as it is, between your support on here, between being a member, mate. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really means a lot. Especially now when the way things are and everything's on its arse. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right, do we want to do another 15 minutes or do we want to call it night, ladies and gentlemen? I will hand it over to you because I'm quite happy to keep going for a few more minutes if you want me to stay on. Or if you've had enough, just tell me to fuck off. I'm good either way. I won't take any offence. Joe Harrison, how are you, mate? Lovely to see you in. I hope you're well. Don't forget Lovren was man of the match in Real Madrid in the final. I'm not forgetting Junkie Funky Smith, and I love saying that name. I said just there a second ago, Dejan Lovren has good performances in him, and he can go quite a while putting in good performances, but he does go Dejan Lovren, and you should never go full Dejan Lovren, and unfortunately he does go Dejan Lovren occasionally. But that being said, he is still a very elite defender, just I don't think consistent enough in the big moments at times for us. Even though you've just said he was man of the match in the Champions League final against Real Madrid. For us, I just think he has... I appreciate the service he's given to Liverpool Football Club, and as I've always said about Dejan Lovren, the man loves wearing the club's badge. The man fights his best and does everything. He loves being a Liverpool player, and I will always say that about him, but I do think, in my humble opinion, it is the right time for him to move on. Dreamer Cold, how are you? Dara said another 15 minutes. 15 more, said Mr. Morrissey. Good. I was hoping no fuck-offs. Kate said 15 more, I'll have to talk to the missus. Fair point. Kate, when you're right, you're right. Although, yeah, do 15 more, you're right. Otherwise, I'll just have to talk to the wife. And she's sick of the sight of me already. UK Beat said, yeah, he has good games and bad games, but he's still very good. Look, there is no doubt about it. Dejan Lovren is a high-level defender. Without a shadow of a doubt. You don't get to play as many games for Liverpool. You don't get to play in World Cup finals if you're not a very good defender. I just think it's the right time. That's where I am with it anyway. Do I think the league will finish, said Mark Hendley? Yes, I do, mate. And we touched on earlier on that after a phone call between European leagues, they still have some belief that the leagues can be finished by June the 30th. I don't think that it can be finished by June the 30th. Personally, I think it'll go on a bit longer than that, but I absolutely believe, Mark, that the league will finish and that there's a huge appetite from everybody for it to be seen through, even if it is at the expense of next season perhaps, or some of next season, or delay to next season. Who's the best Liverpool player ever? Gerrard or Dalglish was probably the correct answer. My favourite is Robbie Fowler, but the best, Gerrard or Dalglish. Lovren's a poor man, Sammy Hippia, said Dara Azizi. As well, thoughts, by the way, any UFC fans in the chat, and I'm sure there are, thoughts on the Khabib-Ferguson fight still going ahead behind closed doors? I mean, look, I'm happy because it's some sport to watch, and for sure I'm going to be buying that fight, and for sure I'm going to be watching it, but and again, unless something has changed on this, I'd seen Dana White the other day saying that they are 99% done and dusted as to that fight going ahead. They just don't know exactly where yet, but it will be behind closed doors with no fans. Obviously behind closed doors with no fans, but will be broadcast. So again, your thoughts on that? Do you think we'll lift the trophy in an empty stadium? Probably, Tom. I hope not, of course. I hope everything becomes clear in the coming weeks. I hope everybody becomes healthy and safe. But unfortunately, mate, I would think possibly. Which is a shame if it happens that way. But, you know, safety and lives are the most important thing here. That has to be number one priority above everything else. I mean, as Jurgen Klopp said, and I think Carlo Ancelotti said before him, football is the most important of the least important things in life. And I think that sums it up perfectly. Again, Joanne, thank you so much for that super sticker, mate. That makes a massive difference to us. Really appreciate it. Kev's in the house. How are we, Kevla? And Luca as well. How are you, mate? I'd watch cricket at this stage. Did anybody watch the virtual Formula 1 Grand Prix that was on Sky the other night? I think there was a mixture of celebrities and Formula 1 drivers and stuff. Which I didn't watch it yet. It's downloaded, but not for me, for Lucas. My son's a big Formula 1 fan. Right, Keegan said, keen to see Ferguson get the win. Hopefully Khabib is an animal. Or hopefully, but Khabib is an animal, I should say. That's what Keegan said. How good is it that we'll be lifting the trophy in an empty stadium? I'd rather us lift it in an empty stadium than not lift it at all, Shay. Like, wherever we are in the world as fans, we'll celebrate. And the players will rightly celebrate with their loved ones and with each other and all of that stuff, mate. But yeah, there's no denying it's not the ideal scenario, for sure. We'd love a packed Anfield and a Hendo Shuffle and everybody in there celebrating and a parade and everything that they deserve, that Klopp and the backup team and the players and everyone deserves. But that's not the world we're in right now, unfortunately. Dreamer Colt said, I read an article saying Haaland's linked with Liverpool. No, mate, not anytime soon anyway. Haaland has always dreamt of playing in the Bundesliga, so when that opportunity came for him, United went in for him, or at least were interested in him, but he had his heart set on moving to the Bundesliga, and Dortmund was the right club at the right time, and I think it's a perfect fit. And if I can't see Haaland going anywhere for at least 2 more seasons, maybe even more. He has time on his side, and there's no doubt he's a baller and he'll go on to have a fantastic career. But no, mate, that won't happen. There's no way Dortmund are going to sell him that soon. Opinion on Kurt Cobain. My wife was a massive fan of Nirvana. Me, not so much so, but I appreciated his music. Well, not his music, of course. There was the entire band. But yeah, definitely appreciated it. Just not my type of music, not really my genre. Stevie G said, keen to hear the fighters in the UFC. Will I play FIFA on this channel? No, I don't play computer games, mate. It's not my cup of tea. I do have a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox because of my kids, but no, I'm not a gamer, mate. It's not my thing. UFC was last night with a full stadium. GSP retained his belt. This is not the one I'm talking about, though, Connor. I'm talking about the Khabib Ferguson fight. Where was the UFC that was in a full stadium, though? That's nuts. I didn't see that. There you go. I missed it. Who's my favourite driver? Was Nigel Mansell for Dara. I didn't like Nigel Mansell. I didn't like. I'm not mad on Hamilton. I'm not a huge Formula One fan, by the way. I should put that out there. Probably somebody a bit odd, like Daniel Ricciardo, someone like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a massive Formula One fan. Yeah, it's more my wife and my son's cup of tea. Gerrard or Zidane? Gerrard, obviously. It's Gerrard. Stevie G. Craig, do I know where you're placing time? No, haven't got a clue, mate. I didn't place you on timeout, so I will have to hand over to Brian or whoever it was that removed you, mate. But it wasn't me, so I don't know. I didn't see you do nothing wrong, so I can't say. What have we got? Suppose getting better around cancelling your hotel for 3 nights last game. Defo cancel it, Kev. God almighty, mate. Cancel it for sure. Senna for Brian. I barely remember Ayrton Senna's time, mate. I was quite young. Around the time of Ayrton Senna. But I remember, of course, when he passed. But I don't remember watching much Formula 1 at that time. Power, we're well into the 15 minutes, mate. I appreciate the love, mate. I think you might be playing catch up, but yeah, we're definitely into the 15 minutes, mate. Don't worry. 9 minutes to go. We'll finish at 11 o'clock. That way we'll have gone a full hour and a half. I was asking who your son's favourite driver is. Sorry, Lewis Hamilton, without a shadow of a doubt, mate. Oh, he's a massive Hamilton fan, yeah, for sure. No, Tom, I don't. As I said before, I am a carer for my son, mate. I don't. YouTube isn't a job for me, by the way, mate. I've never made an income from YouTube. Never taken away from YouTube. Any little bits of money that we have made, mate, we've reinvested in bits and pieces and equipment and stuff and giveaways. But no, I'm like everyone else. I'm a broke ass son of a bitch, mate, like everybody else. How do you know when the league is finished? Nobody knows yet, Deo, mate. I mean, I could have given you a smart arse answer, but I believe your question was in good faith. So I think we're going to have to wait and see. I mean, I believe the league will be finished and all 38 games will be played for all clubs, mate. But it's just a matter, where we are at the minute in the world. It's just a matter about making sure that there's no strain put on the health services, because there has to be an ambulance and stuff at every game. And as Connor was saying earlier on, even a game played behind closed doors takes, I think, between 150 to 300 staff and personnel and stuff. So I think it will be, but nobody knows for sure. I mean, this date that they keep talking about of the 30th of June, I can't see it being finished by then. Although I hope I'm wrong, of course. Yibber said, please keep your head up, Craig. We need to spend some big money this summer to stay ahead of the curve. We all love you. Mate, I love each and every one of you too. I sincerely do. And those that reached out to me over the past few days, it meant a lot. Thank you. Even if I didn't reply to all of them, thank you. I apologised earlier on if it was antibiotics. I was a little bit under the weather, but thank you, Yibber, for the super chat, mate, and for your kind words. Right, what have we got? Start a new stream. Let's go 24 hours. Swerve the missus, said Kate. We're hoping to try and plan something out for charity as well at some point. I mean, with what's going on in the world now, if there's any little bits and pieces we can do to try and help out, we're trying to figure out what to do as well for charity, of course, because the people out there on the front lines doing the heavy lifting right now, some people not even able to see their families because they're at risk and they don't want to potentially spread any illnesses to their family members. So again, if you're one of those people, if you're still having to go there to work every day, whether it be in a supermarket, in a hospital, in whatever it is, thank you from all of us, thank you for everything that you're doing, for putting yourself on the line, for thinking of the greater good. And it will not be forgotten. And I've said this before. I hope when it comes time for any of the governments to relook at the wages for particularly healthcare workers, that they get what they deserve, because they're playing a fucking blinder all around the world right now, playing an absolute blinder. Thank you, Keegan. Australian dollars. I didn't know you were in Australia, Keegan. There you go. But thank you, mate, for the super chat. You're a gent. Yeah, thank you. You're on an Apple device, Keegan. See how I know that? It's because it says 99. It's weird. Anyone that gives a super chat on an Apple device, it always ends in 99 cent. Whereas if you give it on an Android device, it's a round number. It's a weird little quirk about Apple phones, or the way Apple do their payments. And thank you again, Keegan. Thoughts on Charlie Adam? Pass. Next question. Junkie Funky Smith said, how do you send money? Look, firstly, mate, don't be sending any money that you haven't got. I want to make that crystal clear. And there is like a little dollar button somewhere down the bottom, I think, underneath where the emojis button is, I think. I don't know. On everyone's screen it could be different. Well said, UK Beats said to me, thank you. But it's true, mate. Look, it is what it is. Yeah, people out there every day do lots of different things that we don't think about as well, like support car workers, people working in supermarkets, people fixing the lines on the London Underground. I mean, I heard a story the other day about a guy that's from Ireland, a guy that used to play for Millwall. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Robbie... what the fuck's the guy's name? I can't think of his name right now. He used to play for Millwall. He's from Dublin. Robbie Ryan, that's his name. Who has now retired from football and is working for the London Underground, and he checks the tracks to make sure that they're all safe and secure, and he's out there working as well, and everybody in positions that we might not even think of. Wow, thank you from all of us, and I know I speak for all of us. Thank you for putting yourselves out there, so that the rest of us can have it tomorrow. So thank you. Craig, I can't find the join button. Is it a problem at my end? Said Yibber. There is a link in the description, mate, to sign up to become a member, if that's what you're getting at, Yibber. I can't see a reason why you wouldn't see it, because you've just super chatted, so you can definitely access it. I suppose somebody, John, can you whack a link in? I don't have it to hand. John's my man for links and stuff like that about memberships, but there is a link in the description below, buddy. And again, if you're going to sign up and become a member, Yibber, thank you, pal. It means the world to us. Apple getting that sweet cent commission. Oh, there's more than a cent commission, Keegan. Yes, I think YouTube take about 30% of all revenue on super chats and stuff like that, and I think Apple even take another little slice, if my memory's correct. It's more than a cent from what I believe. Right, what else is there? The Army and the NHS deserve everything for giving us good and safe lives and keeping us alive. They work 24 hours around the clock. Yes, and look, obviously we don't have the NHS in Ireland. We have the HSE, and it's called the Health Service Executive, and that's our medical staff. But yes, legends. There's a link in there. John's put a link into the chat. Yibber, thank you, John. I knew you wouldn't let me down, mate. You never do. Right, some more comments. Pele and Maradona to Liverpool. Did you actually see on that, DJ Vinus, did you see that the Pele's come out and said that he thinks he's the best of all time? He thinks he's better than everyone. I love that. I love that little bit of arrogance. Jack's page said, close down the chat in the top right, it'll show next to the subscribe button in blue. Legend, Jack, thank you. Now I'm going to hang on, Yibber. I'm going to hang on to see if you find that button, mate. I'm not ending this stream until I see a Yibber has become a member of Anfield Agenda FC. I can give you an insight actually to my family life over the past couple of weeks. So, we're being very thorough in what we do. We haven't gone outside at all. The only time my wife has left the house is to do a one run every 10 days to the supermarket and the pharmacy. Other than that, nobody has left my house. We've been in the back garden a little bit. We're doing what we're being told to. We're washing our hands a lot, even though we're not going outside. And we're just trying to do, like everybody's trying to do, their little bit by trying to suppress things by just staying at home and watching the fuck out of Netflix and Disney Plus. Hello Mo, I'm good, thank you, buddy. How are you? Pele once said George Best was better than him, said Neil. Mike Bestie was a good player, to be fair. Again, before my time, but from the bits and pieces I've seen of him, you know what I mean, Miss World on one arm, mountain of champagne over on the other arm, mate, and going out and doing it week after week as well. John, talk to you soon, buddy. Good night to you, my friend. A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that there will not be a stream tomorrow night because I'm just trying to stagger it out so we all get a bit of a break as well, because there isn't too much to talk about and nobody wants me to come on here and talk about the same stuff night after night. So we won't have a stream tomorrow night, but on Friday night I'm going to be joined by Cash Boyle and we're going to be talking about whatever there is to talk about, whether it be Cash's thoughts on the transfer window. Maybe we'll have a little bit more news on the possible resumption dates for football and whatever, but again, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's always great to catch up with Cash. Got to reach out to Lee Gunner as well soon. Maybe get him on for another chat. Reach out to Terry. I mean, Terry had me over on the Football Terrace. I'd like to extend an invitation, of course, back to Terry to come on here for a chat one night. And we'll reach out to a few more people as well. Boya is going to come on, I believe, for a chat. Should have had that sorted out sooner, but you know, me having my bit of a meltdown the other day, I think stopped that one. But I will get in touch with Anthony to get him on for a chat. And again, if there's anything else that you guys want us to anyone you want us to talk to or anything you want us to talk about, then you know, this is always your channel, so let us know. Craig, have you heard of Eduardo Carnavinga? Yes, but I don't know him. Heard of him, Lewis? Yes, but not going to lie to you and say that I know anything about him. Just the name I've heard recently. Joanne said, good to hear Cash on again. Yeah, I mean, one of the good things, I suppose, if there is any good things to be had, is that Cash is working from home now, so she does have a little bit more free time, which is great for me because I love having her on for a chat. Limo, I will talk to you soon, buddy. What else is there? I've seen Best, Charlton and Styles at Anfield, said Neo. Good night to you, John. What meltdown did I have the other day? I didn't really have a meltdown as such, mate. I just got a bit down. Put it that way. I didn't lose the plot or get angry or anything like that. I just got a bit down, buddy. That's all. Like everybody else, mate, I have ups and downs, and unfortunately, I probably shouldn't have streamed that night. But you won't. I've taken the stream. It's not on private, but it's not publicly available. But yeah, I wasn't at my best, mate. So I always just want to apologise for that because I like to try and be a bit more chipper when I come on. Please reach out to Mark Goldbridge. I think we might have. I think Connor had certainly meant to reach out to Mark, but Mark's extremely busy at the minute. And look, I'm always happy to have a chat with Mark. He's a top fella. Am I watching The Mandalorian on Disney Plus? It's not my cup of tea, but I did sit through one episode of it the other day because Lucas was watching it. Wasn't the meltdown, said Keegan. Side effects of being stuck in the house. I'm always stuck in the house, mate. I can't use this as an excuse for sure. I'm not somebody that goes out too much anyway, Keegan, with my anxiety and bits and pieces, mate. Yeah, I keep my public adventures to a bare minimum. It was more just tiredness. Yeah, but there he is. He's joined Anfield Agenda Ultras as well, mate. Welcome. You will now get an invite, mate, to our Discord group, which is what we do for Anfield Agenda Ultra members. I haven't spoken about the Ultras in a while. That's our $4.99 a month membership that gives you everything that you get with the other memberships. You get the Craig emojis and all the other emojis. You get the Anfield Agenda crest beside your name, and that changes colour depending on how long you're with us. But the Ultra members get access to our Discord group as well. So welcome, Iber. Thank you very much for that, mate. It really is like the old days, Jack. Yes, much quieter than it used to be. Look, again, ladies and gents, before we head off, if you want to do us a favour, you want to help us out, Hot Mic. I keep saying it, but Hot Mic is the way to do it. It's completely free. Download the app, put in the code Anfield Agenda. There's a link in the description, or just search it on your app store. Lawrence from True Geordie had a meltdown because of Boris. I seen it. Connor sent it to me. It was brilliant. Not that I should be proud of Lawrence because I don't know him, but yeah, it was epic. It was a great meltdown. I mean, I love a good meltdown. I love somebody getting worked up like that for the right reasons. I mean, Lawrence was absolutely right. I've met Lawrence. He's a lovely fella. But yeah, it was brilliant. It was a good watch. It really was. But look, they make quality content, don't they? So, fair play. Craig, do you need to put the Diet Coke away and stock up on hand sanitizers? There's no way I'm putting the Diet Coke away, mate. Always within reach. Always. There's about 72 cans of it out in the kitchen, so I'm all good to go. Junkie Funky Smith, mate, thank you so much. Really, I love your name, by the way. Junkie Funky Smith is like the most fun name to say. But thank you for the super sticker, mate. You're an absolute gent. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could go on for longer, but you know, I gotta go and talk to the wife and stuff. They are cool, the stickers, aren't they? I love them as well. But thank you, Junkie Funky Smith. Thank you to Joanne for the super chat earlier on. Thank you to Yibber, and anybody else who I've missed out on, those that have signed up to become a member and everything in between. Love to you all. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. We appreciate your love and support and all the fun that you bring to our channel. I'll be back on Friday. I hope to talk to you guys then. And thank you for your support. Up the Reds.